Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I've pulled the rear drums off because I want to change the grease seals in the hubs. I've taken the bearing out, washed it. I've washed all the oil out of the bearing housing, and I have a new seal. There's a new seal there. There's the old one. The new seal is like a modern, replacement. So I'm going to put that in there. I do have some inner seals that would go in the axle, but you have to strip the axle down to fit those. So I thought, at least initially, I will run it like this, because remember, I have unblocked the breather. The breather was blocked, which would have pressurized the axle when it got hot. So I'm hoping that with the breather breathing, it might, be all right. At some point I might do that job, but I just don't fancy doing it at the moment. But I can put my hubs on and put the new seals in. It all looks pretty good in there, in the taper and everything. So let's get this back together. The bearings look good. Okay, righto, I'll get it back together then and bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then. Hello, right, rear hubs are on. I've fitted self-locking nuts. I'm not too keen on the cutter pins. I like to do these up really tight. So I've got these good quality aircraft nuts. I might have to shorten this one a bit because it isn't on. It's on far enough, to be honest, but yeah, I might leave it alone. I can't actually see a hole in this one. It must have been sheared off, and I can't quite see where the split pin's supposed to be, so I'm happy to use those anyway. I use them by choice on my V8s. So both hubs are on, they're all greased up, the seals are on, and I'm a little bit surprised, but I connected the handbrake up. I had to use those long bolts because I hadn't got anything else, and the handbrake actually works, so that's good, isn't it? There's the handbrake, and if you pull that it works, so that's good. So these are on and adjusted, so that's another little step forward. I just need some 1/4 inch clevis pins, or make some. I've just another little job. I've just cleaned this and I've just made this, and the idea is that that will go on there, and then that will go on top, and it will, form stop water going in. So I was just going to test fit it, and then if it fits okay, I'll paint it. I've cleaned it with a wire wheel. It was rather bent, so I've sort of straightened it out as best as I can, and I'll just give it a little dusting with black paint. So I'll just just. So I will test fit it then and see how it looks. I think they used to use a rubber washer, but I think it was a bit thinner than this. But I think this will do. Back in a sec. I think I might just put a little bend in it to kind of preload this side. I think it's okay, to be honest, but yeah. So I'll just give that a little dusting of black paint then, and I'll get that fitted properly. I'll do the other one, and then I'll paint them both, and then I'll fit them both. Makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, back in a bit. There's the thing in place. Nice simple little job, just one of them things, get the parts fitted and then I can stop worrying about storing them. I used the original nuts, I made the little washer, and I put grease on it as well. Done the same that side. up there. And I've just fitted that piece as well. It's a little brace that goes between the battery tray and the inner wing. So I've fitted that with new bolts in that case. New bolts, new washer, new spring washer, all fitted up. So that's good, isn't it? Okay. So yeah, just little jobs. You know, I've been doing the brakes. Just little jobs that will need doing at some point, so I might as well do them now. Okay, I'm kind of getting to the point now where I need to do some more welding repairs. I've had a break because I injured my eye, but it's all right now, so I'm not too worried about it. But I've got to be very careful when I'm grinding. It just completely put me off, to be honest. When I experienced what it was like, you know, when my eye was bad and I couldn't see very well, that really put me off. Okay, so please be very careful when you're welding and grinding. Not the welding, but the grinding. Make sure you're wearing eye protection. A normal pair of glasses isn't good enough. I got away with it for years, but you can't get away with it forever. Okay, that's enough for now. I'll be back in a little bit. Cheers then, bye. Hello, I've just done a little job on the lathe. This is one of those long bolts that I'd used temporarily for the handbrake in the 100E. I don't know what happened to the old clevis pins off the handbrake. I don't know what I did with those. But I hadn't got any 1/4 inch clevis pins, but I got some of these ones which are 8mm or 5/16. So I've just let's get this one out. Hang on. Ooh. So I've just made that one there, and I've just turned it down to a 1/4 inch. And I left a little bit there because it was a little bit too long, so that's actually the right length from there down to there, and I can put a 5/16 washer there. So I started off with it. Hang on, I need 2 hands. You know, I don't know, just in the jaws there, can you see that first groove there? Well, I started off with it held in there like that, you know, with it in the groove with a little bit sticking out. So then I turned as much as I could. Then I turned it round and kind of went in with a parting tool and just did the rest of it up to the diameter. Well, down to the diameter. So yeah, that's a suitable replacement, isn't it? Okay, I'll just show you one in position because I've already done the other side. So that looks okay, doesn't it? You get the idea. Okay, I could have ordered some off eBay, but to be honest, I'm fed up of ordering stuff. I'm getting kind of I'm not complaining, I'm pleased with the parts I have ordered, but you know, I'm getting nickeled and dimed to death, as they say. And I need to get a screwdriver down and poke all this out of here and give everything a bit of a spray. There's the fuel pipe there, look, it's pretty, well, can you see that it's wet down there, look? That needs replacing. I need to scrape all this loose stuff off under here as well. Okay, righto. Just thought I'd show you that little quickie job on the lathe. Okay, righto. Back in a bit then. Cheers. I'll put that second clip on there. I'll put that second cotter pin in there, and I started looking at this here, and that there was solid, and I've just managed to break through a sort of passageway between the perch and the axle, and I had to do it. I had to use that drill to get through in the first place. Then I've kind of poked and prodded at it and got through there. So yeah, probably best to get it opened up rather than still have it closed off. To be honest, all these ought to be taken apart and you know, cleaned and redone, but I'm not going to. But I ought to, but I'm not going to. Let's have a look at the other side. Yeah, that's just the same. I'll dig this one out as well. I'll see if I can dig this one out. You know, what you want to do is to sort of stop the deterioration of the car. If you can just put a halt on it and just not let it get any worse than it is, that's a good thing, I suppose. Okay, back in a bit. Hello. Hello. I've been looking around the car and I can see that there's some work to be done down here, some work to be done there, some work to be done there, and I've got to do some work there as well on the other side. So I thought I would take this piece of trim off. Just trying to see how it's attached. Yeah, it looks like there's a screw down there. I've took the clips off there, there, and there's a screw there, and a screw there, and a screw there. So let me see if I can get those undone. Hello. I'm inside the car. I've took that piece of red trim off, and there it is. And behind it was that sort of cotton wadding there, which I think sort of acts as a agent for holding moisture. But I've scraped all that off as well, except for that little bit there. That was all over that area, and it was glued on. So what I was scraping off was the glue in effect. This is rusty kind of all the way up to there. The floor is rusty there due to the mouse urine. Here are the spot welds where the floor is attached to the box section underneath. So I'm trying to work out how to go about repairing this area. I haven't decided yet, so saying what I think I'm going to do on camera is probably a bit futile, because what happens 9 times out of 10 is that I do something different. To be honest, I could do with losing this, but I think this might be adding a fair bit of strength, to be honest, so maybe I'll leave that in. Yeah, this is a reinforcement piece for the shock absorber mount, which goes there, which is there, and that piece there is a joint between that floor, the boot floor if you like, and this floor. I was trying to work out what all the different flanges and lumps and bumps were, but it's all pretty sound there. The piece above the box section appears to be okay. I've got this very bright light which doesn't help. Well, it does help, but it kind of doesn't help in other ways. This piece here isn't too bad, and this has that awkward box section thing underneath it. What I can see in my mind's eye is probably replace from there across and down to down there and across, weld into this new piece and weld into the inner sill in one piece. That's what I'm thinking. But what I'll probably do is, before I weld it in, I'll have a go at replacing that box section that goes underneath again and do it all from above. I could cut this off as long as I weld it back on again afterwards. I'll bring it back when I've decided what I want to do. I just had a little poke around here and I thought I'd get my, this is a welding hammer, you know, for arc welding. That's the box section there that runs up over the axle. And there's that funny shaped box section there underneath, look. So I think what I need to do is cut away the floor and expose the box sections underneath, and then look at, I think this one will be okay, but I need to look at how to repair this and then how to reinstate the floor here. So what I need is a cardboard template of this shape round to there like that, and then I can cut this all away, put the floor in with that shape and a flange sticking down, and then put that in. Oh dear, what a job. And just make a mental note that there's a little bend there. Not that I think that's particularly significant for anything, but there is a bit of a bend there. Everything else is fairly flat. Okay. Oh yeah, I chiselled through a braze there, chiselled through a piece of metal there, and chiselled through a spot weld there, and I've just cut the flange at the top and folded this sort of there out the way rather than cut it right off. I think it'll be okay over there. I'll do a bit more trimming then, and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Right, I've used the cutting disc and the angle grinder, and I've cut the metal out, and it's not looking brilliant, but it's not too bad. I might actually cut it beyond there so that I've got my new metal welded through to the flange. Sometimes the hard part is deciding where to make your joins, you know, your splices. Okay, anyway, I thought I'd just show you that as a sort of midway through job. I haven't made my cardboard template yet, so I better do that before I lose any more datums. I'm struggling to get this off because this piece isn't attached very well. But it isn't attached at this end. Really, I should take this off and reproduce it, and I should take that off and reproduce it. That piece there is very complex shape. You have to make it up from about 3 different pieces. It'd certainly be easier to make if it was all brand new metal. Anyway, that's what I'm working with. I'll carry on and I'll bring you back when I have anything significant to show. Hello. I've got my bit of Amazon cardboard there, look. That's the rough shape of the patch against this edge and following on there, and then it needs to be made a bit bigger there and maybe a bit shorter there. Yeah, definitely a bit shorter there. And then it needs the flange there but folded down instead of up. I've folded it up for ease of getting the position of it. I need to now extend it to there and, you know, put a flange sticking up there. I've cut away all this here. I've cut away all this. But I think in reality what I need to do is sort of prefabricate this big box thing. I need to get it off there and take a cardboard template of each side and kind of make it and weld it together off the car and then offer it in and then weld it in. This area here is one area that's been bugging me because it's an area that I haven't tackled and I know it needs work. The other side is nowhere near as bad, depending on how fussy you are. If you want it perfect, it would all have to be redone. If it's okay to be okay, it'll be okay, if that makes sense. Okay, right. How many times can you say okay in one sentence? Right, okay, I'm getting somewhere. Leave it with me and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then, bye. Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I've started tackling an area that I've been putting off because quite frankly it's probably one of the most complex ones I'm gonna look at. I had a little score today. I'll insert a little clip here of the truck. Hello, I've just been out in the truck. Had a routine appointment earlier at the doctor's, and I noticed they'd got a skip out the back, and I had a look, and there was a load of metal shelf units in there. Well, there was like a metal cupboard that had been dismantled, and there's all these shelf units, and there's the doors. So I asked permission if I might, get them out of there, and they said, yeah, no problem, help yourself. So I've just been back in the truck and picked those up. So that's some useful metal, isn't it? So some of those will become part of the 100E, I would imagine, very soon. And there's some extras there, extra bit of metal, never goes to waste. Just shows you gotta, take advantage when you can. I did ask permission, but this is top quality stuff. They wouldn't buy cheap stuff, would they, when the government's paying for it? Okay, righto. Just thought I'd show you that. And the truck earning its keep. Good old truck. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then. Bye. And there you can see the units stashed for future use, the shelf units. So they'll provide me with some good metal, I hope. I hope the paint comes off easy enough. Yeah, it could be difficult, couldn't it? Okay. Anyway, so on the strength that I've got some metal, I have got a tiny little bit of metal left of the other stuff I was using, but I decided to have a look at this area here. I've probably already showed it. I've cut out a big area there, and you can see there's this odd shape bracing section that needs to go in. And this is what it looks like from underneath, this area here. And you can see the wheel arch there is looking rather sad. But what I want to do is replace this area, and then I'll do the wheel arch to suit. So I've been underneath, and I've cut paper templates. I've cut this paper template for here, so that one goes there, and that arrow means I need a 1/2 inch fold there. So that one goes there, and then this one goes here, like that. So if you can imagine that one going there, like that. And then that needs a 1/2 inch flange all the way around that top piece. And just a little fold like that. And then this one will box it in like that. And again, where the arrows are, I need a 1/2 inch flange. And then there's a little bit there. And then these will all get welded together. I could possibly actually, now I'm looking at them and I join them together like that, if I tape these together, I might be able to make this piece and the bottom in one piece. That might be a good idea, mightn't it? Imagine if I could do those in one piece. Just put a bend in it. But I don't imagine that I could do this piece, as part of a one piece. It's just beyond my capabilities. It's going to be quite complex, I think. Okay, so I'll start cutting metal then, and yeah, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Once I've got the metal cut and it looks like it's okay, I'll see about cutting this out. I can't see how this is attached to that. I don't know if it's just brazed up there. I just don't know, to be honest. Okay, I'll bring you back when I've made some progress. I'm out in the side shed, and I just thought I'd show you my press. I've been using my press as a sort of holding and bending fixture, and you can see here I've raised up 3 flanges of this piece, 4 flanges actually, just by clamping it using various pieces of metal. These pieces, that big piece, just doing it like that, and then making sure I've got a piece solidly clamped along the edge, and then knocking it up like that. I've only got one more. No, there's a 90-degree bend to do there, which I'll get set up for that, and I'll kind of show you that, because that I'm just going to bend that by hand. Shouldn't need hammering. And there's just a little bit of a cheeky fold there, not much to it at all. But yeah, I've done this. I'll get one of the other pieces that I've done it. I'll just show you that as well. Here's one piece. Can you see that there's a curve there? Well, by using different pieces of metal set at different angles, I was able to kind of get that curve in there. And likewise here. And then there's just a straight bend there, look. So these pieces will form that. These two will form the awkward triangular box piece, and that piece will be the floor. Okay, I'll carry on and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello, this is the bit that only needs a very slight curve. So put that piece there and put that piece there, just bridged across, clamped it down. It just needs a very slight bend, hardly anything to be honest. There you go, just a little hint of a crease there. So I'll set it up now for the other one. Hang on. So that's set up with that line along the edge. So I'll give it a bit more of a heave ho now. So the question is it 90 or not? It might not be 90 actually. Hang on, I'll just give it another little press. I'll use both hands, hang on. So there we are. That bit goes under the frame rail, that bit goes on the side of the frame rail, that bit goes under the floor, that bit goes to the inner sill, this bit goes to the inner sill, and I've left a little bit of extra metal on here because that will be welded, and then this piece will get welded along this edge, but I need to shrink it there and shrink it a little bit there as well. So there's the makings of the box section. I just thought I'd show you my sort of using the press as a bending machine. You know, it's working pretty well, to be honest. You know, that's quite a complex shape, isn't it? You know, better than trying to do it in a vise. You can't, for instance, you couldn't do that in a vise because you can't hold it. You know, you can only hold a certain depth in the vise, can't you? And a certain width. But, you know, there you go. It'd be interesting to get this welded up and see how it looks. Okay, righto, back in a bit. Hello, it's another day and I've come out to carry on working on the area of the car under here, which is a complete disaster area. There's my repair piece, part of it, and I just managed to get a good look inside, and I had to put my head around at a funny angle, but there's a flange there that sticks inboard on this piece. I couldn't see how it was attached and I wondered if it might have been brazed, but there's a flange there, so that answers that, doesn't it? So they must have been able to come in with a spot welder from above. I've got that piece, but I've got it going the wrong way. So I need to bend that flange round the other way. Okay, right. So that's me ready to cut out all of this. I kind of grabbed hold of it last night and bent it a bit, so it's not in the right place now. But I can cut out that piece there. I can cut out this piece here and get rid of this. Oh, it's quite strong, but just trying to think what would be the stronger repair. No, I'll just cut it out and get rid of it, and then start cutting out all this. Okay, righto, back in a bit then. Hello. There are my pieces, and I don't mind telling you, I'm really struggling. I can get that piece in, the big one, and I kind of can get that one in, but I can't get them both in at the same time in a position where they would look okay welded together. I've got everything cut away. Everything's cut away. The whole area is kind of prepared-ish. So I just need to kind of take stock and work out why what I'm trying to do isn't working. You can see where I've kind of rounded off all the flanges so I can kind of settle them in after, but it's just not coming together at all. You know, transitioning from cardboard to metal is difficult. Okay, right, okay, it's not going well, but I'll bring it back if I can get things moving. Back in a bit. Hello, right, it's a little bit later, and I've done some radical reshaping of flanges and some trimming. I took some off the bottom edge of this piece, and you can see it fits quite well now. That piece sticks out past, but I did leave extra metal on there. So what I think I'm going to do is to reach in with a welder and put, you know, a tack there, and a tack in there, and a tack where I can reach, and then take the whole thing out and weld that on. That's what I think I'm going to do. I don't think that's too bad at all, really. It took a lot of work to get that to fit. It's very difficult doing sort of 3D shapes, but I was trying to minimise the length of weld seam, you know. That's not too bad, not too bad. Okay, I'll have a go with the welder then, and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Well, as they say, that's your lot. I just put it in the vise and I started to weld around there. Oh yeah, sorry, I should have said. Yeah, I got some tacks on it. I don't know if, yeah, you can see a couple of tacks there, can't you? Took it out, put it in the vise, and I've welded along there, burnt a hole, and I welded there, and I was just trying to fill that hole in, and I ran out of gas. So that's it. I'm stumped now. It's Friday afternoon, and the welding place won't be open until Monday morning, so that's it. Now I'll have to think of something else that I want to do. But I can't do any welding. I haven't done any welding for ages because of my hurting my eye, and yeah, I knew they needed changing, but you know, I wasn't sure quite when it was going to run out. Obviously it runs out when you're doing a job, doesn't it? Okay, well anyway, I've got that sort of part way along, so when I'll leave this now and think of something else to do, and I'll get back to this when I've got some more gas. Take it easy then, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then, bye. look, I've got some welding gas. And this is the piece that I was working on last week, and I've welded the areas that you can see there, which don't look too bad, I think. So they're okay. So I'm just going to take it into the side shed and grind back that area there and make it look nice. Hopefully I'll put enough metal on. If not, I might have to kind of run a bead down and, you know, grind it down again, but I think that'll be okay. Righto. Yeah, not looking too bad, not looking too bad. Okay. Righto, I will bring you back when there's more to show. Hello. Right, here's my piece of metal. I showed you where I welded all the way down there, and I've just ground all that there. And what I've just done, I don't know if you can see, but I've bent that flange so it's kind of parallel to the first one, to that one, you know, looking down there. That's why I left plenty of extra metal on it. That's the sort of thing that's hard to do, you know. Having said that, the cardboard should have gave me that. So I need to trim that off a little bit because it doesn't really want to be that big, and then I need to drill some holes in those two faces. In theory I ought to be able to spot weld along the bottom, and in theory I should be able to spot weld along here as well. Oh yeah, and I probably need to drill a couple of holes in that piece there as well, on the end there, and that piece there, thinking about it, and that piece there. Yeah, so couple of holes there, couple of holes there, probably 3 each there. Okay, I'll do that then off camera, and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Okay, right, we're under the car. There's my piece, my 3D sculpture offered in place, and quite frankly I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm quite pleased with that. It does fit quite well, you know, considering my status as a sort of sheet metal worker, which is rank amateur. I bumped it and banged it about a bit, and it is in there, but what I sort of remembered is that what I want to do is put some weld through primer on the flanges and things. So that's my test fit. It does go in, it's gonna go in, you know, it'll go there and it'll be okay. So I'll put a bit of weld through primer on it now. I'll take it off again, put some weld through primer on and offer it up again, and I'm hoping that I can spot weld along here with a bit of luck. And I've got a plug weld there, which will be difficult because it's overhead, so that'll be a test. And I've got a plug weld there as well. When I plug these, obviously I'll get a clamp on here somewhere and pull it up tight. But yeah, it's not too bad, to be honest. Quite pleased with that. Okay, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Waving the camera around. Okay, I've got 3 there, 7 there, 10 spot welds along there, and I think they're okay. So that's nice and firmly attached. So I need to look at some plug welds now, none of which are going to be easy. As you can see, I've put the weld through primer on. I cleaned it to bare metal before and then put the weld through primer on. Hopefully that's, you know, well attached on there now. I'll get these 2 in. I'll give this a little bit of a tap, make sure it's fully seated, and I'll get these 2 in. They'll be the easiest to do because I can lie here and do these. Fingers crossed. Not looking forward to this. Okay, righto, back in a bit. Hello. Right, here's my piece. I've had a go at plug welding. It didn't work great, but I think it is welded in. those two there, those two there. There's a couple up there which I can't really get to. I might be able to sand them with a crocky sander. Actually, this one at the bottom worked the best of the lot, I believe. Then there's some up there which I've sanded them all, to be honest. I've ground them all, but it is attached, you know. It's in there good and proper. I was working a bit blind. There's a flange on the inside of there which I had to get through from the inside. Now I had to do it using a mirror, so they don't look fantastic, but it is attached. And spot welded along here, and I went down inside and just put some beads just down in the join as well for a sort of double indemnity, belt and braces, you know. So that's really solidly attached now. So what that means is I can have a look at the floor piece that goes on the inside, which is the next part of the job, isn't it? But that was quite a lot of work, making that awkward shape there and getting it in. I don't think the weld through primer helps the MIG weld. I think it is more of a spot weld thing, so that there's something in between the spot welds protecting the flanges. I think for a MIG weld you're better off having clean bright metal. Okay, righto. I'm pleased with the metal fabrication now. I thought that came out pretty well, to be honest. You know, from cardboard. It's a complex shape. A lot of shape to that piece. I think that's the first one of those I've done where it's come out looking like a decent job. So I'm going to call it good at that, because I've been out here quite a while, and you know, the next job is the floor, which is on the inside. So a quick look from the inside. There, that looks all right, doesn't it? Yeah, that looks good actually. Quite pleased with that. I'll check the shape of my patch panel and get that in place. Once that's welded in, there's that wheel arch there. Oh yeah, and a few other things over here, but you know, you have to treat everything as a separate job, otherwise it becomes too overwhelming. Okay, anyway, do you know what it is? It's time for a cup of tea, so I'm going to leave it at that now, and I'll bring you back when I do a bit more. Cheers then, bye.